So having a company that really did not accept a degree or give you the possibility to work without a degree is really like a
Will need
luxury.
to fill this rule at some point. You just need to make sure that you are ready for that
I already
opportunity.
applied to automatic maybe once or twice and got rejected. Morocco, I didn't have like an software engineering degree, so I started going to hijacking job interviews and then just casually saying that I don't have a degree in computer science. So I will go to the interview, blah, 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 and then I will present myself as a software engineer. And then just at the end, I will say, I don't have a degree. And you can sense that the atmosphere changes like completely when you say that you don't have a degree. Started for the main reason was legal stuff, but then it moved to just productivity hacks or productivity tips or what are the coffee shops that you can work from Casablanca. So it was like a coming soon page, share the page on Twitter. And funnily enough, a lot of people started paying for it. I was like, okay. So yeah, there is something there. Like remote work in Morocco is too small, just like a handful of people. So yeah, the market is small.
So welcome guys to Yale Let's Code podcast, a podcast where we interview software engineer to share their entrepreneurial story. We have Ahmed El-Zabi, a software engineer at Automatic, the company behind many popular products like WooCommerce, WordPress, and he's currently working as a payment engineer at the WooCommerce team. And also we will be talking about his other project, Remote.ma, Make It Legal, and all other investing tips that he shared recently over Twitter. So let's see you after this intro. Ahmed, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed. Mostly a software engineer. I also do a lot of things on the side. I work with Automatic, the company behind WordPress.com, WooCommerce, Tumblr, and many other products. I'm currently working on the WooCommerce side as a payments engineer. Yeah, we can get into the meaty stuff afterward, but that's a general introduction.
Awesome. So thank you, Ahmed, for accepting my invitation to be in this podcast. And can you give the audience more about how did you get started in web development, specifically your educational background, and more about the backstory of how you become a software engineer?
Sure. It started maybe 14 years ago. So I was a teenager in just high school, and I got my first computer on Encarta Encyclopedia and stuff like that. And then like one day I learned about HTML. So I started playing with HTML. I learned then CSS and JavaScript. So I started creating small websites and stuff like that. And that's when it started. I really like the fact that I can get my hands dirty and just create things. I like to start from a blank page and then turn it into websites. Yeah, but then it was for a few months. Then I learned how to do it online. So at first it was just like on my computer locally. And then I learned about servers, about domains, about all that stuff. So I started putting websites online just for fun. Yeah, and we can say it started from there. And then my professional, like my engineering degree is in electrical engineering, but I'm always thought about myself as a self-taught developer, and I'm currently working as a software engineer.
Awesome. So it's been a passion since you've been a child and you turn it into professional. And I have a question. What, because it's your passion, why you didn't choose computer science degree on the first place and you choose electric engineer? So why not choose it like a computer science degree from the first?
It's a complicated thing here in Morocco. Is like you usually listen to what other people say. I did that error. So in my studies, like usually pass an exam, and if you have high marks, then you get to choose which degree you will go in. And in my year, which was like 2013, computer engineering was not really a thing. Like it was really low. like for only the last people in the exam. So I was from, you can say from the first bucket. So I got to choose which degree to pursue. And the hottest thing in 2013 was like either electrical engineering or mechanical engineering and stuff like that. So I ended up choosing electrical engineering. But then after like 1 week or two, I knew it was not something I want to do for the rest of my life. So I started to change that in the school, the engineering school, but didn't accept that. So I just continued my studies just to get the basic minimum so I can pass. And then on the side, continued learning software development and web development in general.
Awesome. Yeah. You mentioned that, yeah, it's a problem that we have in our education system. And for me, I have different story. So I got my high school education degree, which is in Morocco, we call it baccalaureate in economics. But I wanted to do computer science, but no one told me that I cannot do this with my degree, my high school diploma. And when I got to choose, I can only do economics. I can do only like a marketing and stuff. I cannot do computer science, even in private school. That's the problem. So even private school doesn't allow this. So it was a bit like weird for me. And I enjoyed economics, but it wasn't something that I would like to do for the rest of my life. I enjoy it because it's close to reality. All the stuff that you learn, it's you can relate on in the reality, but it wasn't something that I would like to do for the rest of my life.
Good thing is like now you have an economics background, which is still useful.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it will get you somewhere.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's true. So moving on, after you got your electrical engineering diploma and you start as a software engineer, what was your first job that you got after getting your diploma and you are ready for the job market?
Yeah, so the engineering school is like 3 years. So in
Okay.
our last year, we have what we call here in Morocco PFE, which is like a final internship of 6 months, where you're supposed to work on a project and a graduation project that you need to present at your school, blah, blah, blah. So that's when we got a visit from a company. So they visited our campus and they presented the company, and it was around, they were doing software engineering. And I remember they said like, come as you are. So even though you don't actually, like you're not in computer science or you are in a different degree, you can still come and you will have to pass an exam. And then if you get good marks, then yeah, who cares about the degree? So that's what I did. So I went to the exam. I had a good score. They called me to an interview. The first interview was a little bit weird because I didn't have, like, even though I was self-taught, I didn't have a lot of, the concepts for software engineering and stuff. So the interview was kind enough to give me like a few things to learn. And like he said, go and learn it. We will see each other next time and I will ask you about it. So that's what I did. Got home, learned about these concepts, and then we did another interview and I passed that one. So I ended up doing my final internship with that company for 6 months. And after graduation, I worked with the same company as a QA engineer. So that was my first entry to the computer science market or computer engineering market.
Awesome. So you did an internship with this company and you don't have a degree. After that, I think this internship turned into a full-time job offer as a QA engineer, which is quality assurance engineer for people that would like to know more about this stuff. It's a Moroccan company. It wasn't like a remote from the start.
No, it was a Moroccan company. It's called Société Générale ATS. It's in Casablanca.
Okay.
And since that day, I'm based in Casablanca now because of that.
Okay. I see. Awesome. At which year we are talking about the
It's
period that you get this internship?
So it was in 2016.
Okay.
I started in January at the internship, and then I started full time in August of the same year.
And how long you have been working with this company, and what the thing that you learned during this experience?
Yeah, it was a nice experience because I didn't have like a proper degree in computer science. So I started a little bit, how do you say it? Like everyone who's having a degree, they have like some basic understanding of some concepts and stuff like that in computer science. I didn't have those, so I needed to give more effort to learn. But the good thing is I was excited about it. So I was learning pretty quickly and moving pretty fast. So I stayed with that company for nearly 2 years. And that's why when I applied to Automatic, which is the company I'm working with right now, but I stayed there for 2 years. I worked as QA engineer, as you said, quality assurance engineer. And then I worked as a cloud engineer because I basically did everything with Q&A, and I was like, okay, maybe I need to switch. So I talked to my manager, and there was a new team, cloud engineering. So I moved to cloud engineering for some time before leaving 2 years later.
Do you think that getting a degree back then will make the experience much better for you in terms of salary, if we would say, and also if in terms of getting comfortable of being in this situation? Or do you think because you don't have a degree, this will push you to learn other stuff and be better than the average one that have a degree?
Yeah, like one must say that I was lucky to find that company, and I'm grateful for it. Like if not for that company, I will probably not never start as a software engineer, but it will be harder. And this is what we see currently in Morocco and in a lot of parts of the world, is like the degree is still a blocker for most people. So if you don't have a computer science degree, you can't really go to company X, Y, or Z. So having a company that really did not accept a degree or give you the possibility to work without a degree is really like a luxurious thing. And I was lucky to have it in my career. So that's the first thing. And then, yeah, I think the fact that I knew I was lacking a few things gave me that grit to continue pushing and to learn on my own. Because first, I really was excited about working as a software engineer. It's something that I really wanted to do for a long time. So I really liked what I was doing. It's not something that just felt it just work. No, it was not work for me. I was excited about doing it. And then, yeah, as I said, just wanted to be a good software engineer. So that gave me some push to learn on my own.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, got your point. And you mentioned that in this situation, the problem that the current situation doesn't, the current market currently, it's like there is a lot of hiring freeze, a lot of layoffs, and people that recently graduate or are self-taught that getting out of the bootcamp are currently having hard time finding a job because the market is not there. I would say no, it's not there, but it's getting harder and harder for someone to get a job as a software engineer. And I would say the hiring manager may be picky or find a way to be able to calibrate the market, I would say, because there's a lot of problem in the market currently internationally, not only in Morocco. So you will see a lot of layoffs, and some people that have a degree or doesn't have a degree are still having some problem getting a job, and this will not encourage someone from, I would say, learning and pushing himself to learn your stuff, because at some point the market will need software engineer to be able to build some stuff. So it's better to be ready for the opportunity than to have the opportunity and you are not ready for that opportunity. So I just would like to flag that because a lot of people are struggling right now with finding a job. And you mentioned that, yeah, sometimes it might seem like a luck, but it might be like a good timing. There's a lot of factors that you don't know, but just you need to do your due diligence.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also like a good idea to remember that it's not easy. It's normal to get stressed out when you don't find a job or, yeah, this is life. But yeah, the market is tough these days.
Yes. Because I see like a lot of people during, I would say 2021, 2022, 2023, maybe there's a bit of 2021 and 2022. There's a lot of hiring because of the COVID and stuff. And many people, they just get out of a bootcamp within like a few weeks, they get a job offer, or during the bootcamp, they get a job offer. So it's not, I would say it's not the case anymore because for many people, but just to keep remember that the market will need to fill this role at some point. You just need to make sure that you are ready for that opportunity. So awesome. So we mentioned some stuff here, and talking about, so after you did this internship and you get a job as a quality insurance engineer and cloud engineer, and you start working with the automatic. How
Mm.
was the experience working with an international company, and how did you find this opportunity?
Yeah, I must say remote working was something that was on my mind for a long time. Just during also my university, I was learning about remote work. I knew about Automatic, I knew about Camp and a few other companies that were like operating 100% remotely. So I had these companies in mind before. So every time I go and check if there is an opening, I already applied to Automatic maybe once or twice and got rejected. So it was not like something that I just stumbled up and I knew about them. And so one day was just normal work day, and then I checked an Automatic website, and then I found a job posting that was like tailored for me. It asked for the same experience I have. It asked for like many things I really had, and then I felt it was written for me. So that's when I decided, okay, let's try another time, and applied for that job. And then I guess 1 or 2 weeks afterward, I got a first interview, which was with WordPress VIP, which is like the enterprise side of WordPress. The funny thing is like the whole interview process was written. We didn't have any call, so we only talked on Slack during the whole process, and I got the job without seeing anyone on camera. It was purely on Slack, which was interesting. But
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I never heard about someone getting a job offer just without having a video call interview, I would say. It's really
yeah,
interesting to know that people get a job offer just from texting or
yeah,
slacking, I would say.
we get we take asynchronous communication really by heart in
Yeah.
automatic. So
And you mentioned that you have been interested or have been looking into this type of remote, I would say this type of work style, which is remote work. What got you start, like what was the thing that got you into this concept of remote work? Because I we are we don't hear this lifestyle a lot in Morocco. So I just
mhm.
would like to know what was the trigger to be able to know more about this lifestyle.
If I can summarize it, it's probably anger. Like when you get a lot of bad experiences in life, you just get angry. So the first thing was being rejected in multiple interviews just because you are from a country that's not, for example, I can give like specific example. In Morocco, I didn't have like an engineering, software engineering degree, so I started going to hijacking job interviews and then just casually saying that I don't have a degree in computer science. So I will go to the interview, blah, 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 and then I will present myself as a software engineer. And then just at the end, I will say, I don't have a degree. And you can sense that the atmosphere changes like completely when you say that you don't have a degree, even though the whole interview was great, was good. You have the skills, you have everything, but as the moment you say that I don't have a degree, everything changes. So that was the first thing that made me angry. And the second thing is like when I was learning about software development, I tried to take some freelance gigs from here and there. And every time they know like you are from India or from Morocco, or if you're not from the US, then you should not get paid up to a certain amount just because you're not from the US. That also made me a little bit angry. That's when I started looking for remote jobs because they basically fix both problems. You don't get paid less because you are from a country, from India or from Morocco, from whatever. You're still getting paid less than a US person just because the cost of life is higher there, but not with the big margins like freelance gigs. And secondly, because most of remote companies don't really care about your degree or your education or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense. Got your point. Yeah, I agree with you. There is some people and some client and also some remote job that will the salary will vary based on your location. There is some remote job that will have this issue. Not all of them will have, I would say, a reasonable margin from the employer, like a location. For example, it's in US, it will not be a big difference, but there is some company that will do that. But I don't think there's a lot of them. Thanks God, there is not a lot of them. So a big chunk of them will not have a big difference from what they will pay for, I would say, a US software engineer, which is good. That's great. And that's anger that lead us to the current job that you have, which is good. So you are currently working in like a good company, Automatic, which is the company behind a lot of good product, WordPress, WooCommerce, and WordPress is powering, I would say, I think 70% or something like this of the website over the world, which is
It's 44, I guess, right now. 40.
44. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 44. Yeah. So
Of all
it's a
websites,
bit
which is
okay.
crazy.
That's a big number if you like count all the website that's running globally. It's a big chunk that is running
Yeah.
using which is really good. And
Yeah.
you mentioned that you start working in the VIP team. So it's the enterprise version of WordPress. Can you give us more about this experience working with the enterprise client from the first, and how was your experience working with big client WordPress?
Yeah, it's a different experience from working on small things because we had a handful of clients, so your work does not impact millions of people, but at the same time, that handful of clients are really big. And there was a lot of pressure about missing things or had some stories about blocking production and stuff like that. But there was a lot of pressure. So example of companies we worked with are, so usually we had two type of companies. So we had companies who were like, for example, Spotify or Facebook, where like blogging is not the core product. So they will just give you the blog and say, deal with it. We don't want to deal with all of this. Just give us an administration where we can write blog posts and stuff like that, and you deal with everything else. We don't want to do that. We have these companies, and then we have other companies where actually the blog is the business. And these companies are like news websites, like News UK, we have The Sun, and other big websites where actually the product is the website. So it's critical mission. They don't want it to get down, and they just offload all of that to you. So we were working on an infrastructure that's completely distributed with load balancers all over the world, with data centers all over the world. We don't run on the public cloud, so we have an internal infrastructure all over the world. It's connected, and our job was to run everything. When I was there, it was not Kubernetes at the time. It was not even Docker. So we had an internal thing that was running all these websites. And it was challenging sometimes. By the way, it was a great experience. You get to see the scale of some companies, which is, pretty interesting.
And after that, you switched to working in the WooCommerce team, which is the e-commerce platform, which is the direct competitor for Shopify. People that would like to know.
You talk a lot about Shopify here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commerce.
So, some people might get angry because of that. That's funny. So you're currently working as a payment engineer at the WooCommerce team. Can you give us about that switch from working, I would say, in other area of WordPress and coming as a payment engineer, which is the most important part in the e-commerce, everyone wants to get paid, and this is a critical part of the e-commerce solution.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the switch came naturally because I spent maybe 3 years in VIP, and then I just felt that I've done everything, so I just need to switch to something else. And what's great about Automatic, like you can switch internally for any division you want. So yeah, I talked to my lead and said, yeah, maybe I should try something else. And then I had two options. It was either Woo or Pocket Casts, which is a podcast app also part of Automatic.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so talked to both engineering leads in the divisions, and I got a small presentation from Woo and from Pocket Casts. And Woo had actually some openings in the payment side. So that was the proposition. So if you want to switch to Woo, it will be on the payment side. And I thought, yeah, that was interesting. So that's how I decided to go to Woo.
Awesome.
You can say I was lucky.
It was the right timing.
Yeah.
And you are working on a specific product that you would like to share publicly, or you would like to not share that?
Yeah. No, it's a public product. It's called WooCommerce Payments, which is
Okay.
basically the payments part of WooCommerce. So WooCommerce is an open source solution to run e-commerce, like to run commerce websites on your WordPress. So you can get it, install it in your server, or just, take it from one of the providers. It's open source. And then if you want to sell online, which is basically an e-commerce website, you can add WooCommerce Payments, which let you pay with cards or, buy now, pay later at like Klarna, or with bank contacts or whatever, a lot of payment options. When I joined, my work was on the fees. So I was working on the team because when you pay a merchant, we take a cut, the payment processor take a cut, and then the merchant gets the money. So I was working on that payment split, the fees. I then moved to international expansion, which is opening the product in other countries. And now I'm working on the account lifecycle, which is the onboarding, just getting the user on the platform, onboard it, do the KYC, like your identity, your bank, etc., and then present you with the dashboard, basically.
Awesome.
So that's the WooCommerce Payments, which is the product I'm working on.
Awesome. I think it's similar to Shopify payment. So
Yes.
Shopify, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. For people who would like to compare, it's similar to Shopify payment. So
Yeah.
you will
We
get the
also
same
have
benefit.
WooPay, which is, I think it's like shop for,
Yeah.
for
Yep.
Shopify. Yeah.
Awesome. We have some competitor here.
We are open source. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I think we cover all the stuff that has been happening for your professional career. So
Mhm.
currently you are working as a payment engineer, and we cover that part. I think in the next section we'll be talking about your side projects and the other stuff that you have been working on while doing your full-time job at Automatic. And the first one that I would like to mention is Remote.ma. So for people that don't know, Remote.ma is a website and a blog that Ahmed share all his content about legal stuff and remote working, specifically as a Moroccan, because we don't have any content related to that until now about our remote work and the legal stuff part about it. And I will let Ahmed talk more about his product, and he will give us more detail and more insight about this product.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, as you said, we don't have remote content, so I need some competition.
Yeah.
Please, guys, competition is good. So yeah, the idea of the website started also from anger, because if we are following the story, I applied to Automatic, I got accepted, I got an offer, but then I was like, I'm working for an international company, so what's the legal binding between me and that company? So they sent me like an agreement that I need to sign, etc., a contract, but then how should I do it legally? So those were my questions, like, how can I do it? So I started like searching on Google and stuff like that and couldn't find any information. So that's where the anger is coming from. Like, why is no one talking about this? I'm pretty sure I'm not the first one working remotely from Morocco. And I'm probably not the last one. So why is no one talking about this? So I made it as a mission to talk about it once I figure it out. So yeah, just I think on the spot, I looked for Remote.ma, the domain name. I found it was free. So I bought it. And then I went to figure out how to do it legally. So I talked to friends, to accountants, to many people, and I started like gathering all this data. And then once I started working, I already had my company and everything, so I was completely legal. And then I said, yeah, I will start sharing this on the blog. So the blog started the main reason was legal stuff, but then it moved to just productivity hacks or productivity tips, or what are the coffee shops that you can work from Casablanca, which is the most visited post, by the way. Yeah, stuff like that. So it started full legal, but then it transitioned to a blog where everything about remote work is shared.
Yeah, awesome. And by the way, Ahmed, who was the one helping me figure out all the legal stuff when I got a job offer from the current company that I'm working with, and he was like, my guy, when I have a legal question, I will." So thank you so much for all your help. It was like a frustration experience because we don't have content about this, and you did a good job of making this legal part pretty accessible to anyone. There is not a lot of information about this part, and I think your blog did a good job of explaining this part. So when someone gets a job offer, they already know what the right thing to do and how they can do it step by step, which will lead us to the book that you have, which is Make It Legal, which is an actual, I would say, strategy to make your remote working job legal in Morocco specifically. Can you give the audience more insight about this one, and
Mhm.
so people can know where to go and what they can get from this ebook?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first, thank you for the kind words. It's my
No
pleasure.
worries.
Happy to help. Yeah, make it legal, which is for people listening, it's make it IT legal, legal.ma. It started also from actually a reader. So when I started Remote.ma, like anytime I had an idea, I would just write about it. But sometimes I had questions from people, and then I was like, okay, I can answer you in a message, but then yeah, this is good. This could be a blog post. So I will just write the blog post anyway and then send you the blog post or send you the answer. So one person actually asked me, given I was sharing details as I learned them, it was like everywhere. Here's a bit about starting a company, here's a bit about being an auto entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. So it was all over the blog post. And one guy was like, yeah, you should put this together in an ebook and I'm happy to pay because I need all this information in just one place where I can read it in one sitting and have everything I need. I was like, okay, let's try it. And so I started like, it was in Gumroad. I started accepting payments from people without even writing the book. So it was like a coming soon page, share with the page on Twitter. And funnily enough, a lot of people started paying for it. I was like, okay. So yeah, there is something there. And once I got a few people paying, then I started writing the ebook. And here we are. Now it's been 5 years. Wow. Okay.
Wow,
5
time
years
fly.
for the ebook. Yeah.
That's really, yeah, it does time fly. Yeah,
I
sweet.
remember you were the first one from the first people who got it. So
Yeah,
thank you.
no worries. That's really, yeah, it's 5 years. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's a long
Yeah.
time. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It was COVID. Let's
Yeah,
blame
that's
COVID.
true. Yeah, we have like 2 or 3 years that we cannot count.
Yeah.
So it just been 2 years.
Yeah. Just 2 years.
So can you share more about, I would say, the revenue side or the number of how many like a sales that you made from this ebook, if you are comfortable sharing this number, if it's not a problem.
Yeah, sure. Maybe this is the first time I'm sharing this, just so people know that I'm not rich because of the ebook, because the sales are not really, do not really go with the effort that like went into the ebook. And because every year I update it for free, yeah, it's a continuous thing. So the ebook, like right now, I don't remember the correct number, but it's like around $9,000 in 5 years. So I started an experiment. Like all the time, I'm experimenting with things like changing the colors, changing the words, blah blah blah, changing the landing page, and every time I see if the conversion is going up or down. So last time, which was like a few months ago, I tried to be more active on social media. So I was posting mostly 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes every day, and just trying to compare if that will change the sales. The answer is it did, but not in a profitable way, if I can say. So now if I don't work on the ebook, like I'm doing zero job, no updates, I'm not active on social media. It's been like 2 or 3 months since I posted something. It's given around $200 per month if I do nothing. If I started posting regularly, like every day or every other day, it brings around $400, $500 a month, which is like nearly like more than the double. But at the same time, there is a lot of work in posting every day. And every time I post, there is a question, more questions about something. So you need to invest time responding to all these questions. And yeah, for me, just not worth it.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm just leaving. Yeah, $200 a month is, yeah, still good. Yeah,
Yeah,
these are the
that
numbers.
makes sense. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this number, so
Yeah, you're
people can know you will not have a Lamborghini because of the ebook.
welcome. If you want to give me a Lamborghini, just send it directly.
And you have a personalized consultation service that people can book on the
Mhm.
website. So also this is part of the ebook, I would say. So it's makeitlegal.ma consulting. So I will leave all the link in the show note and in the video description if you are watching us from YouTube. So people can book a slot if you have a specific case that would like a help from Ahmed to solve for you about remote working and the legal part about it.
Yeah, sure. And I also just want to know that these one-on-one calls I personally found more helpful than just shouting things on the internet or on social media because you can't really help. Like you try to help the majority, but at the same time you don't help someone like directly. It's when you help someone directly is more impactful. Like just yeah, for example, when Elias was talking about my help, like I was helping him directly, not through like social media, public social media, Twitter or
Yep.
something like that. So yeah.
And also, I think this session will give you some idea about what you can write about. So also the other people
Mhm.
can benefit from that.
Yeah, sure. And it's crazy because people usually, yeah, it's funny because people don't really give the salary, which is a culture thing that we don't talk about salary and money in Morocco, which is, yeah,
Yep.
normal. I understand it. But during this consultation calls, because it's live and we can see each other, people generally feel more comfortable about sharing their salary because I need to know the salary so I can give you the better choice or the better legal choice for your case. So, which is also
Yeah, makes sense. And also talking about the ebook and I would say information business, I interview in the episode number 8 Scott Tolonsky, the founder of Level Up Tutorial and the co-host of the Syntax FM, and he has Level Up Tutorial, which is selling premium dev courses. It's all like it's video based, and he struggled a lot to be able to sell information to other people, and mostly people are not willing to pay for information because everything is on YouTube. And what do you think is the struggle that you face while managing and building this product, make it legal ebook, and
Mhm.
what thing that you could done better if you started out from scratch?
Yeah, there are a few struggles, I believe. The first one is the niche. Like remote work in Morocco is too small, just like a handful of people. So yeah, the market is small. So I can't really go and sell the ebook to someone from France or from somewhere else. So it's specifically Moroccans. We are 30 million people. Software engineers are like whatever, 10,000 or something like that. And you are just talking about remote workers in this specific niche. So it's really small. And then the second one is we in Morocco do not have this culture of buying non-tangible things. I think if it was like a book, like a physical book, people will probably buy it. But
I
given
think
it's
so.
not, yeah, if it's just a PDF or an EPUB or something like that, people generally don't want to buy it. However, I'm pretty fortunate to be working with software engineers because we are getting used to it more and more. So we can buy subscriptions for Cursor.ai or
Yeah.
something that's not tangible. I'm lucky because I'm working with software engineers which are more used to this than others. And also because email is not something that we use personally in Morocco. So it's like for work, just for work. But all my marketing is on email. So I get your email and then I can send you marketing emails. So if my niche was not reading emails, then I will be cooked because I can't really do any marketing. So I'm also lucky to have software engineers that usually check their personal email and work with email and stuff like that. So yeah, informational products in Morocco are just like, yeah, it's complicated. As I said, because of the culture, because we have a small niche. It's like 30 million people. Unless you're doing something that's international, international. It's probably, Morocco is probably too small.
But do you think that, for example, that you can replicate the same strategy that you did in Morocco for other country? I wouldn't say France because I don't think. I think they might have good content there, but I am not sure. But you can like target other company that you think that will have this issue of lack of information for the legal part about searching and working with international clients and working remotely. Do you ever think about replicating the same, let's say, make it legal dot Argentina? I'm just like a saying country
Yeah.
or something like this, so people are getting the same information. But it will not the problem that you should do the research
Yeah.
for the legal laws and stuff for specific country, which is it's not that easy and it's
Yeah.
pretty hard. And some cases, some country which would be, I would say, impossible to get some information.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think
Yeah, what you said is the real problem. Like you need to be in the country, living the same life to be able to find information. Because most of the information make it illegal. Some of them like are real legal texts that you can find in the legal book, but then other information is just like by experience. I can tell go to bank X, don't go to this other bank because from experience, this is better than that. I don't think this is replicable in other countries. And at the same time, the problem is this information get updated a lot. So you need to be on top of everything. Yeah, which is not really easy if you go to other countries.
yes, that's true. And I have one note about the stuff that you mentioned. But do you think because you are working at Automatic, which is the big company, and it's mostly remote, and you can have access to people that are working from this country, and you can ask them specifically how they do it legally and working with the Automatic? For example, let's say someone working in Argentina with the Automatic, you can just ask them how they do it legally, and you can just maybe do a collaboration with them. But the problem here that will the information will be you will need to trust that someone that will
Yeah.
give you the right information.
And there's also one thing is like you get into too much personal details. You can find someone that is not working legally, but
Yeah, that's true.
they can't tell you that. They'll
Yep.
tell you, yeah, I'm working illegally, blah blah blah. But once you get into the details, they will be hesitant, and yeah, it would just feels weird. So yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
probably yeah. Because I know a lot of people in Morocco that don't work legally and yeah, just work, and yeah, you can't really tell them to give you advice because it will be
Yep.
mostly incorrect.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We will just be kind enough to give you information, but the information you cannot trust them because yeah, it will be public, so it's
Yep.
better to avoid this situation.
Yep.
Awesome. So recently, you
Hmm.
start sharing some like investing tips over Twitter
Hmm.
for because I think you start this series. I think I would say it's a complementary for make it legal and the stuff that you mentioned on Remote.ma, and you start this investment tips for I would say for someone working remotely because they will have I would say good salary and they can
Hmm.
invest on some stuff. What do you think that someone that's working remotely with a foreign country should invest in, and what strategy that you are currently making for to get the most of your investment, and what type of investment that you should recommend to someone to do working remotely with a foreign country?
Yeah. So these articles, yeah, started from Remote.ma. Um, Again, mostly it was a question from a reader, like, hey, I get a good salary, I spend a lot, but I still have money. So can I invest it in something? So that's when all this started. And also because I'm curious about money and investing and stuff like that. So the best investment strategy in Morocco and probably everywhere is real estate. The only problem is that you need a lot of money to just buy one property, and then you need to raise money or something to buy the second. And unless you have a lot of properties, the returns are not that high. So that leaves us with non real estate, which is either buying stocks in the market or just buying some the equivalent of ETFs in the US, which is a diversified portfolio of the best companies in your local market or in the US or in another country. Yeah, so basically these are the investment strategies. In Morocco, there is, for me, only one viable option, or maybe two, is the equivalent of ETF, which is OPCV, which is like a diversified portfolio where you can put your money, and then it is automatically invested for you by the company that's creating that fund. And the second option is, if you want to get adventurous, is to go directly to the stock market and buy actions from companies and then sell them afterwards. Good moment to make money is probably an IPO. It's always a good idea to go to IPO. The last one was for Akidital, which was like 2 months ago or something like that. I went with it. The problem is like we didn't get enough shares because there was like a lot of people were asking for shares, so we only got like 20 or something. But that's now plus $500, like right now. So it's always a good money, especially if you have like if you can go with big chunks of money. Um, but again, this is only investment. Just you enter and then you go out just quickly. So it's more like trading. But for long time investment, it's OPCVM in Morocco. And then, yeah, if you want to get stocks directly from the market, that's also a good option.
Awesome, good to know. And for people that would like to know more detail about the stuff, where they can find this article.
Yeah, it's remote.ma/investing.
Awesome. So
Should give you everything. Yep.
all the link that we mentioned in this podcast episode will be in the description of the video, and if you are listening to us over streaming platform, you will get it in the show note. And I think this can be the last section that we will have in this podcast episode, where I ask the guest for a recommendation resources for someone that would like to get into entrepreneurship, software engineer, what thing that you would recommend to yourself if you're just starting out? To just reframe the question.
Yeah, for software development, it's the same mindset I'm going with since I was like in school, which is just build stuff. There is really no reason to go deep into books and methodologies or stuff like that. Just go and build stuff, learn while you're doing something. That's probably the best advice you can get. If you are like interested about investing and stuff like that, just start doing it. If you lose or you have a fear that you will lose money, that's part of the game. You will also lose money, but you will learn. And just as a reminder, don't invest something that will make you broke if you lose it. Just invest responsibly. Yeah, and my current recommendation is, again, play with stuff, build stuff. And then if you're not trying, especially for software engineer, if you're not trying Cursor.ai, try it. It's good. Yeah, I think that's it. And if you're interested in entrepreneurship just try building companies and building informational products or anything that has like a money return, and see for yourself if you like it or not.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing this stuff. And I would like to ask you, because you mentioned building stuff, did you ever build something that failed too fast? I would like to get more about the other side of the story, some
Yeah.
of the failing product that you have, if you
Most
would
of
like
my
to mention
projects fail. Maybe the biggest fail was I was early in the days, like I started working on a link in bio
that.
type of
Yeah,
project.
I
Yeah.
remember this one.
Yeah. So yeah, I was working on it, and then also my recommendation for the tech stack, just use Firebase for everything. It's pretty cool. So I was using Firebase for this
But
project.
it will get expensive over time.
Yeah, I just like have a limit.
Yeah. Yep.
And I have a monthly limit of $5 a month.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. So I had this project, which is like link in bio thingy. So I started it, pushed it in Product Hunt, and then, as I said, like I have a budget limit of $5, and then just forgot about it. And then like I was just keeping track of payments and transactions in my account. Like for the first 2 months, it was like $0. It was just using the free tier of Firebase, so it was good. And then I started getting like $1, $2. I was like, okay, something is there. So I went check in, and that's why. And I found out that all pornography, OnlyFans people were using it to distribute links on Twitter, on Instagram. Actually, Instagram banned my domain name, and it's still banned to this day. So yeah, and then I shut it down.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. I remember this blog post. It was
It was actually
to read.
it was trending on Hacker News. It was on the first place.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was really funny that you are targeting some people as you will get the people that you don't know to expect. You
Yeah.
are not thinking about at all.
As long as you have a platform where you can upload images, you're cooked. They will
Yep.
find you.
Yeah. And also, I think OnlyFans started that doesn't like do this type of content, and because people are this kind of people are uploading the content, they switch the business model to just focus on this type of people.
Serve your customers.
Yeah. And they are making money.
Yeah, I could have done the same, but yeah. So that was the biggest fail. Yeah, there are other smaller projects that failed quickly. There are other projects like that are still living. Like the Make It Legal is probably the longest project currently. It's like five
Yeah,
years.
5 years. It's a
Yeah,
quite some time.
yeah. And then, yeah, currently working on other projects. So yeah, that's the
Awesome.
funny story about Fit.
Yeah, it's really funny. So I think we are about to make it for this episode. Do you have so for people that would like to reach out to you, ask you a question, and find all the stuff that you mentioned, where they can reach out to you?
So it's elazzabi.com/contact. So it's elazzabi.com/contact. I usually respond to emails quicker than DMs because I don't have Facebook. I don't check Instagram and Twitter. I mostly go stalking sometime every day. So yeah, email is better.
Awesome. Yeah. So all the stuff that Ahmed mentioned and we discussed in this podcast episode will be in the show note and in the video description if you're watching us from YouTube. So thank you so much, Ahmed, for your time and
My
sharing
pleasure.
your story with the audience. And hopefully you have a good time with us and
Yeah.
you enjoy the episode. So,
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the invitation. It's been a
no worries.
while.
Yeah.
Bye.